Calling to order the Cuyahoga County Council's regular meeting for Tuesday, March the 26th. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Calling the roll, Ms. Simon. Ms. Baker is absent this evening. Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Tuma. Mr. Gallagher. Mr. Schron.
Here.
Ms. Conwell is also absent this evening. Mr. Jones.
Here.
Ms. Brown.
Present.
Ms. Stevens.
Present.
Council President Brady. You have a quorum.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to excuse the absences of Councilwoman Baker and Councilwoman Conwell for this evening. Thank you.
And seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. The council members have been excused. Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, do we have any public comment this evening?
We do, Mr. President. The first speaker is Stephen Frammartino.
Good evening. My name's Steve Frammartino. I'm the UAW representative, international representative. I represent the RNs at the Justice Center. What I have today is the state of uncertainty of the employment of the committed RNs that we have at the Justice Center. I had requested a meeting of the county executive. He was graciously accepted. I appreciated that. We did meet today, and what I had found out when he stated that county council has forced him to only use Metro Health. Now, this came up as we had asked for maybe having, was there other entities, maybe other entities that might be more favorable to retain the RNs that you have, the committed RNs that you have. They've been there through all the turmoil. They've been there through all the adversity that's going on in there, and they have stuck with you. I will tell you two stories. The last time I was here, I was with some RNs, and there was a demonstration by the young lady back here, and it was done very well. They said the names of the people that had passed away. I had an RN crying next to me because of the things that she performed on this individual. This affected me, right? This has driven me to the point where I will fight and fight and fight till we retain these RNs. This should drive you to retain those RNs, okay? Second story is that we are in negotiations for effect bargaining. So I'm sitting next to an RN that is one of our elected reps. She gets called out by human resources. Your human resources came to her and said, we are short-staffed. Short-staffed after all the money you've spent on agency nurses. She is told they're short-staffed. She gets up and she goes out. She did that to protect the individuals that they serve in there. They are providing a great service for you. It is now time for county council, if it is your decision, that is what I was told. It's your decision. It's your decision. Now make that decision to retain these RNs and allow them to keep their union voice, so they will have to be able to stand up. They will have the ability and the power to stand up whenever there's adversity or if there's an unsafe environment. They will not be afraid of any repercussions. So I ask you, so the nurses that have been committed to the county through all the adversity, it's time for the county to commit to these nurses. These nurses have done the best they can with what they got for these communities, for the people they serve. They only see human beings when they come through there. They're some of the most caring individuals, and it drives me to stay here and do this. So thank you very much, and I implore your help. Thank you.
Next speaker is Carlisha Powell.
My name is Carlisha Powell. I'm the staff representative for the Cleveland region of AFSCME Ohio Council 8. I represent medical staff at the jail, including LPNs and social workers. I'm here to ask this council to step in and protect these county workers who have given years of dedicated service to the county and to their patients. The staff has been made aware that Metro Health is taking over staffing and medical operations of the county jail system. However, they have been told they are not guaranteed employment once Metro takes over. Although Metro commissioned a study that recommended the retention of experienced nurses, as it is important for the continuity of care. The study also says that the least desirable option is to bring in agency nurses who do not have the same experience. However, this is what Metro is currently doing and still could be in the plan for them to do once they take over. Those at risk of being fired are employees who have worked for this county for 25 years. If after being fired they are unable to find work in the public sector and they have to take a position in the private sector, their Social Security will offset their PERS. Because Metro is the only public hospital in the county, the likelihood of finding nursing jobs in the public sector, which ensures these employees' PERS, is very low, without a guarantee that they will remain employed after Metro takes over. This is a very uncertain time for these employees and for their families, and it is important for this council to intercede and ensure that their jobs are protected. These employees were loyal to the county for 25 years. Now I'm asking the county to be loyal to these employees. Thank you.
The next speaker is Ms. Liu.
Good evening, everybody. Right now, I would like to bring up a subject similar to the issues the other two people just mentioned. I use a different example, homeless shelter. Well, we know that the previous service provider at Norma Health couldn't really separate their good employees and bad employees. So whatever the bad employees did really ruined all the good things the good employees tried to do. Now, finally, we changed the service provider, but the same situation still exists. Back in November, when we first had this meeting, actually one advocate, community advocate, he mentioned something seriously important. It's a culture we have to watch out. It's the culture we have to check out. It's the culture we have to improve. I really appreciate county has good employees for 25 years. I believe lots of them are very hardworking and diligent workers. But we know other workers in the county jail or in the homeless shelters, if they don't follow the same protocols, they are not on the same pages with all of us, this will not really fulfill all the improvements. Doesn't matter county administration or the county council actually wants to do to really correct the situation. It does take some time, but unfortunately, we are also running out of time. People's lives are at stake, especially the people who have no voice, who have already in the situation that even their voice are not believed. Thank you very much.
Next speaker, Jennifer Lumpkin.
I am here with the Coalition to Stop the Inhumanity at the County Jail and will read the following demands. We demand that the Cuyahoga County Council, County Executive, Armand Budish, the Sheriff, and the Judiciary, number one, bring all the Cuyahoga County jails, including the one at the Justice Center, the Juvenile Detention Center, Euclid, and Bedford Heights, into compliance with the minimum standards for jails in Ohio. A, implement zero tolerance for guard brutality immediately. Stop COs constantly threatening detainees and sending them to 7th and 9th floors where gang members are consolidated as punishment. B, provide an anonymous tip line for detainees so they can file a grievance not through a CO. C, bring the jail into immediate compliance with the Prison Rape Elimination Act. D, clean the jail immediately. Bring the facilities up to basic sanitary eating and sleeping conditions. Provide enough bleach and cleaning supplies to prison prisoners to clean surfaces. Rid the sleeping areas of feces and urine. Replace all moldy trays. E, require all prison workers, particularly kitchen staff, to wash hands with adequately provided soap. F, rid the jail of mice, especially in food storage rooms. G, give all detainees immediate ability to make a phone call, fix phones immediately, and undergo medical and mental evaluation and needed treatment, including addiction services. H, seize coercive pressure to waive the right to a speedy trial and plead out to a lesser charge. I, place all pregnant detainees in a pod together and provide a nurse practitioner to have oversight of the unit. Number 2, provide full access to healthcare services. Immediately end the deprivation of resources, including food, water, and medicine and medical services. A, take mental health seriously at admission and beyond. Hire licensed mental health professionals for evaluations and ongoing monitoring of all detainees. Provide continuous medicine for people in jail with mental illness. The psych pod is overflowing. 56 suicide attempts were undoubtedly the tip of the iceberg. B, establish 2 mental health 24/7 crisis facilities that would divert many from jail in the first place. C, provide needed menstrual pads. D, provide larger portions of more nutritious food, not bologna sandwiches, 4 days a week. E, implement immediate short-term and long-term protocol for addiction withdrawal. F, require nurses to change infections, wounds, bandages daily. G, provide medical staff at Euclid and Bedford Heights jail facilities. 3, end the transfer of children to adult correctional facilities. Children are physically, psychologically, and developmentally different from adults. And I'll have my colleagues read the rest of the demands.
Carol Steiner.
Good afternoon. I'm a member of Puncture the Silence, Stop Mass Incarceration, which is part of the Coalition to Stop the Inhumanity at the Cuyahoga County Jail, and I just have some remarks for you this afternoon. At your December 11th, 2018 meeting, the Coalition to Stop the Inhumanity at the Cuyahoga County Jail submitted a list of demands, part of which you just heard, around bringing the conditions at the Cuyahoga County Jail up to the minimum standards for jails in the state of Ohio. It was interesting to us to see that policy wasn't what needed to be changed so much as implementation, because this has been very clearly laid out in the state of Ohio. As we have taken our struggle out to the community, the list of demands has expanded. We have been pleased to hear that you have addressed some of these demands, and that you have plans to address more. We have not seen the timeline that we have requested as to when you will have addressed the remaining violations of human decency at the jail. Movers and shakers have come to you from within Cleveland and without to ask for millions of dollars for a facelift for the queue or an Amazon warehouse. You have granted or offered them millions of dollars. We are here for victims, many of them innocent, of an unjust economic and criminal justice system. We continue to hear about guard abuse and suicide attempts. What is the plan for the Mental Health Diversion Center? When will it open? When will the mental health professionals be in place? When will red zoning stop? What are you doing to bring fewer people into the jail? We are here from the Coalition to Stop the Inhumanity at the Cuyahoga County Jail to help you get the will and the wherewithal to rectify all of the unacceptable conditions at the jail. You have accepted responsibility for people's lives. You have power. You have influence. And within an overall unjust economic and racial system, individuals can make a difference. Your inaction and indifference reveal a belief that those most egregiously affected by poverty and racial oppression matter less than the luckier and more privileged. How would you feel about all of the abuses at the jail if you or your family member were detained there? We all know that the character of an institutional culture is determined at the top. It's time to let your staff know that guard brutality, intimidation, humiliation of detainees, and indifference will not be tolerated, and that there will be consequences if they continue. It's time to remedy all of the inhumane conditions at the jail, and each and every one of you needs to do the right thing and figure out how to stop the inhumanity now.
Molly Nagin.
Hello. So I speak on behalf of the Coalition to Stop the Inhumanity as well. This statement is to provide a few updates from our data collection. We have reviewed the report to the community issued by the jail administration on February 6th, and unfortunately the vast majority of our demands remain unaddressed, and of those that were claimed to be addressed, our intel tells us otherwise. First of all, the administrators at the jail are preparing to flee their positions. During an interview with a potential new employer, an HR employee stated that the reason they were attempting to leave the county jail was that, quote, everyone in my office is going to be indicted. That employee's boss also applied for the same position. One formerly incarcerated citizen who was released near the end of February stated that they saw no new cleaning accomplished and that the hygienic conditions were the same as in November before the U.S. Marshal report. Quote, the whole place needs to be power washed and bleached. They stated the sinks, toilets, and showers were absolutely gross, covered with hair and stains. A few times the toilets got clogged and it took the jail a couple days to respond. They stated that they saw the showers that are used by hundreds of people every week cleaned once in 3 months. People have told us that there are still mice and bugs in the kitchen and that every time food is served, the incarcerated, quote, check for pieces of plastic broken off from the beaten up trays and cooking utensils. The meals themselves are reported as being, quote, horrible in very small portions, except, of course, when the FBI was visiting. One currently incarcerated person echoed that the visits from federal monitors meant freedom of movement as well. Quote, usually half the days of the week we were red zoned. As for healthcare services, no new changes were noticed. Quote, if you were sick, they wouldn't give you anything for it. You had to buy it off commissary. I put in a request several times for mental health counseling, and it took 2 months before I could even talk to somebody. As for overpopulation, no change. Over the holidays, federal level offenders were removed, but every cell meant for one person continued and continues to have 2 people or more, making it so that, quote, I slept on the floor until my very last day. As for communication with the outside world, quote, visitation scheduling was arduous and inaccessible. We only received 15 minutes, and it was always a struggle to get answers for visitors, such as how to come in, what the rules were. Phone calls were expensive, over $3 for just 15 minutes, and, quote, nothing was available to write with. I felt disconnected and lonely most of the time. As for relationships with COs, quote, some COs were wow, I can't say that word. Sorry, jerks that hated everybody. They would make sexually explicit jokes, and one CO picked a fight with an inmate while I was there, put on a pair of gloves, and went into the cell for a fist fight.
Keith Wilson.
Hi, I'm Keith Wilson. I'm with the Coalition as well. I'm going to continue reading the demands. Number 3, end the transfer of children to adult correctional facilities. Children are physically, psychologically, and developmentally different from adults. Nutritional supplements provided to youth must be increased to meet the proper requirements for brain growth and development. Juvenile justice must focus on the rehabilitation and treatment of its youth. end the criminalization and dehumanization of our youth. Provide games and snacks in the juvenile visitation area to assist parents and youth in developing a bonding experience. B, provide an anonymous hotline for youth to file complaints against staff and COs. C, protect nonviolent youth detainees from youth gang members by housing them in separate pods. Number 4, increase funding to support re-entry support services. Implement policies and approaches that link those re-entering society with the treatment, housing, employment they need. Ensure that all inmates that are receiving mental health services are looped back into the services once they leave the facility. 5, end the use of criminal history in determining eligibility for housing, education, licenses, voting, loans, employment, and other services and needs. 6, carry out swift implementation of bail reform. We demand the release of all inmates held pretrial for low-level nonviolent offenses. This use of pretrial detention should be severely limited, and if deemed necessary, a recorded justification for imposing any bail must be met and available to the public upon request. 7, bring systematic data collection, reporting, and transparency. Provide an easily accessible, thorough, and updated collection of pretrial case information and jail conditions report. We demand a thorough update for the public at every Cuyahoga County Council meeting and through the media until our demands are met. Data collection should include 1, conditions of bail, 2, conditions of jail operations, 3, demographic information including race, gender, and LGBTQ status, 4, length of time spent in the Cuyahoga County Jail prior to release, 5, current risk assessment scores and evaluation, 6, compliance with conditions of bail, and 7, eventual case outcomes. 8, set up independent oversight governed and led by a committee of affected community members over the Criminal Justice Reform Task Force. We demand this task force propose a timeline for achieving promised reforms to the county's bail system and agree to independent oversight. And with my remaining few seconds, I just want to acknowledge that there's been another suicide attempt reported in the Plain Dealer yesterday. Every day that we delay these reforms, more people's lives are at risk.
That was the final speaker.
Could I have a motion to approve the minutes as printed on the agenda for the March 12th, 2019 Committee of the Whole and the March 12th, 2019 regular meeting? It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it. The minutes are approved. Is there a message from the county executive?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I want to report that last Friday we met with our state legislators and had an excellent turnout. We had a number of members of the administration there to meet with them. Councilman Miller and Mr. Nani also came to the meeting. We primarily discussed the governor's proposed budget and the impact of his proposals on our county. We told the legislators that there are a number of items in the budget that we strongly support. I can say that it's one of the better budgets I've seen in the last 8 years for us. And we highlighted 3 items in particular. One is the governor's proposed addition of $60 million for indigent defense reimbursement. That would make a big difference for us. Second was the governor having proposed increasing the local government fund. That would be very helpful to us. And third was a proposal to increase funding for public transit. There are a number of other proposals in the governor's budget that we like. We'll be working to support those proposals as they're considered by the state legislature. Thank you.
Thank you. Legislation introduced by council, consideration of resolutions of council for first reading and referral to committee.
Resolution number 2019-0076, adopting various changes to the Cuyahoga County non-bargaining classification plan.
This will be referred to Human Resources.
Resolution number 2019-0077, making an award to College Now Greater Cleveland in the amount of $500,000 from the Cuyahoga County Educational Assistance Fund for Component 2 of the Cuyahoga County Educational Assistance Program for the period ending June 30, 2023.
This will be referred to Education. Committee report and consideration of a resolution of council for second reading.
Resolution number 2019-0065, approving the reappointment of various individuals to serve on the Cuyahoga County Soldiers and Sailors Monument Commission Board of Trustees for the term April 16, 2019 through April 15, 2024, as printed on the agenda.
And this item will be moved to the April 9th council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption. Consideration of resolutions of council for third reading adoption.
Resolution number 2019-0051, adopting various changes to the Cuyahoga County non-bargaining classification plan.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Council President, these items were heard in the Human Resource Appointment and Equity Committee meeting on March 5th, and I respectfully request my colleagues support this resolution.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it. Resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2019-0052, adopting various changes to Cuyahoga County non-bargaining salary schedules A and B.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Council President, this was also heard in our March 5th Human Resources Appointment and Equity Committee. It was also thoroughly vetted, and I respectfully request my colleagues' support.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Legislation introduced by the executive, consideration of resolutions for first reading adoption under suspension of the rules. Could I have a motion to suspend the rules?
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. The rules are suspended.
Resolution number 2019-0078, amending the 2018-2019 biennial operating budget for 2019 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations for appropriation transfers and for cash transfers, amending resolution number 2019-0053 dated February 26, 2019 to reconcile appropriations for 2019.
To adopt. Mr. President, my colleagues, this is the regular monthly fiscal agenda. The responses to our advanced questions to budget and management are on your desk. Most of the items are routine. Most notable is the funding of $12.7 million for the Harvard Garage and $500,000 for the Justice Center Regionalization Project, which involves the conversion of old kitchen space for dormitories. I recommend passage on first reading suspension.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2019-0079, declaring the vacation of a certain portion of Warrensville Center Road located in the city of Shaker Heights in connection with intersection improvements is of sufficient importance to prepare a plat and survey.
Motion to adopt. Second. This legislation came before the Public Works Committee, and again, this is just a small sliver of property that had been requested by the city to be vacated, and I would ask for council's support on this.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Consideration of resolutions for first reading and referral to committee.
Resolution number 2019-0080, making an award on requisition number 44742 to Carvo Companies Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $1,782,778.80 for resurfacing Cedar Road from Somme Center Road to Chagrin River Road in the villages of Gates Mills and Hunting Valley.
Be referred to Public Works.
Resolution number 2019-0081, authorizing an amendment to agreement number AG 18067 with the Metro Health System for the Metro Health Select Network Health Benefit Plan for county employees and their eligible dependents for the period January 1, 2016 through December 31, 2018, to extend the time period to December 31, 2019, to change the terms effective January 1, 2019, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $900,000.
Be referred to Human Resources.
Resolution number 2019-0082, authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 18017 with Medical Mutual of Ohio for stop-loss insurance services for county employees and their eligible dependents and Cuyahoga County Benefits Regionalization Program participants, employees, and their eligible dependents for the period January 1, 2018 through December 31, 2018, to extend the time period to December 31, 2019, to change the scope of services and the terms effective January 1, 2019, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,250,000.
This will also be referred to HR.
Resolution number 2019-0083, authorizing the issuance and sale of county economic development revenue bonds in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $39,500,000 for the purposes of refunding the outstanding principal amount of the County of Cuyahoga, Ohio Economic Development Revenue Refunding Bond Series 2003, the Cleveland Orchestra Project, in the aggregate original principal amount of $28,150,000, and 2, paying or reimbursing the costs of constructing, reconstructing, refurbishing, renovating, upgrading, improving, and equipping Severance Hall, together with appurtenances and work incidental thereto, and for the purpose of paying any capitalized interest on the bonds and paying the costs of issuance in connection therewith, authorizing the preparation and use of a preliminary official statement and an official statement, approving and authorizing the execution of a trust indenture, a loan agreement, a tax agreement, and related documents, authorizing other contracts and other actions related to and necessary for the issuance of the bonds.
And this will be referred to Economic Development.
Resolution number 2019-0084, authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 1400-136 with AT&T Corporation for Centrex telephone and messaging services for the period June 1, 2014 through December 31, 2018, to extend the time period to December 31, 2023, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,890,000.
Will be referred to Finance.
Resolution number 2019-0085, authorizing an amendment to a revenue-generating underlying agreement with City of Euclid for operation of jail services for County Euclid prisoners for the period April 1, 2014 through March 31, 2019, to exercise an option to extend the time period to March 31, 2024, and for additional revenue in the amount not to exceed $2 million, authorizing an amendment to the lease in connection with said underlying agreement for a county jail satellite facility located at 545 East 222nd Street, Euclid, for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $5.
Public Safety.
Resolution number 2019-0086, authorizing an amendment to a master contract with various providers for the Shelter Care Spectrum of Services program for the period March 1, 2018 through February 29, 2020, for additional funds in the total amount not to exceed $1,577,851.
This will also be referred to Public Safety.
Resolution number 2019-0087, authorizing a contract with InfoPro Computer Solutions in the amount not to exceed $555,000 for information technology services for the Buckeye Case Management and Computer Network Systems for the period April 1, 2019 through March 31, 2022.
This will be referred to Finance.
Resolution number 2019-0088, making an award on requisition number 44122 to Youth Opportunities Unlimited in the amount not to exceed $4,511,760 for the Comprehensive Case Management Employment Program, Employment, Education, and Training Services for Young Adults for the period April 1, 2019 through March 31, 2020.
Referred to Education. Committee reports in consideration of resolutions for second reading.
Resolution number 2019-0070, declaring that public convenience and welfare requires resurfacing of various roads, streets, and a boulevard located in various municipalities in connection with the 2020 50/50 resurfacing program, finding that special assessments will neither be levied nor collected to pay for any part of the county's costs of said improvements. Additionally, Councilmember Stevens has requested to be a sponsor to this item.
Item will move to the April 9th council meeting for consideration for third reading adoption.
Resolution number 2019-0071, authorizing an agreement with State of Ohio Office of the Auditor in the amount not to exceed $533,000 for an annual audit for calendar year 2018 for the period January 1, 2019 through December 31, 2019.
And this item will also move to the April 9th council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption. Committee reports and consideration of resolutions for second reading adoption under suspension of the rules. Could I have a motion to suspend the rules?
President, I move to suspend the rules.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. The rules are suspended.
Resolution number 2019-0067, authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 1800-293 with DeJoya Suburban Excavating for reconstruction and widening of Royalton Road from West 130th Street to York Road in the city of North Royalton for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $722,431.05, authorizing the county engineer on behalf of the county executive to make an application for allocation from county motor vehicle $7.50 license tax funds in the amount not to exceed $10,000 to fund a portion of said contract.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
And Mr. President, on March 20, 2019, Nicole English from Public Works came before the Public Works Procurement Contracting Committee. This is an amendment request by the City of North Royalton. This is a federal aid job, and the cost related to upsizing the water pipe, and the city will cover the cost of that. And so I would ask that we move this forward on second reading suspension and for council's support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2019-0068, making an award on requisition number 44248 to Nerone and Sons Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $676,870 for the Wallings Road Pump Station Improvement Project in the city of Brecksville.
Motion to adopt. Second. And Mr. President, with respect to this ordinance, again, this was presented by Ms. English before the Public Works Committee. The estimate of this contract was $650,000. This was slightly over the estimate by 4%. The costs will go back into the district user city sewer funds, and they'd like to get moving on this project, so we're requesting a second reading suspension on this as well.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2019-0069, declaring that public convenience and welfare requires resurfacing of various roads, boulevards, and avenues located in various municipalities in connection with the 2019 50/50 Resurfacing Program Part B, finding that special assessments will neither be levied nor collected to pay for any part of the county's costs of said improvements as printed on the agenda. Additionally, Councilmember Stevens would like to be added as a sponsor to this legislation.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
And Mr. President, Ms. English also presented to the committee this resolution. This is part of the 50/50 county program as part of the 2019 projects. The county will match up to $250,000 per city. There were 16 of the 62 applications that were granted from those submitted. There'll be a kind of a sister piece of legislation coming forward in the near future as part of the 50/50 program, as the funding went from $1.5 million to $2.5 million as a result of the license fee increase this past year. So I would ask for movement on this with second reading suspension as well.
All those in favor say aye. 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 All those opposed? The ayes have it.
My name.
Mine also.
Woman's name? Brown.
Simon.
Resolution number 2019-0072, amending the 2018-2019 biennial operating budget for 2019 by providing for establishment of a new chart of accounts as a result of implementing the enterprise resource planning system.
Move to adopt. Mr. President, my colleagues, this resolution creates a new chart of accounts for budget and management for use under the ERP system. It does not substantively change the accounting of our funds. This portion of the ERP is almost ready to go, so I recommend approval on second reading suspension.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2019-0073, authorizing Title 4D cooperative agreements with various providers in the total amount not to exceed $107,270.84 for child support services for the period January 1, 2019 through December 31, 2019.
Councilman Conwell is not here. I don't know if there's a member of the Health and Human Service Committee that would like to step in, but if not, then I would move this legislation.
I second.
First and second. All
And
right.
as a member of the committee, this item was heard in front of the HHS committee with regards to the Title IV agreements, and so we respectfully request passage.
Thank you very much. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2019-0074, authorizing Title 4D cooperative agreements with various providers in the total amount not to exceed $11,337,752.39 for child support services for the period January 1, 2019 through December 31, 2019, as printed on the agenda.
Move to adopt.
Second. Again, this item also was heard in committee, and I ask for my colleagues' support for this legislation.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it. Resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2019-0075, authorizing a revenue-generating agreement with Cuyahoga County Board of Developmental Disabilities in the amount not to exceed $823,375 for reimbursement of staffing services for the DD Medicaid Waiver Program for the period January 1, 2019 through December 31, 2020.
Second.
Respectfully, this item was also heard in the Human Resource Appointment Equity Committee meeting, and we respectfully request passage.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Resolution is adopted. Consideration of resolutions for third reading adoption.
Resolution number 2019-0045, authorizing the Director of Public Works to execute and submit a loan application in the amount of $752,625 to Ohio Water Development Authority to finance a portion of the Bradford Road Relief Sewer and Pump Station Elimination Project in the city of Brecksville for the period October 22, 2018 through December 31, 2019.
Second. Councilman Tuma, do you have any comments?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Mr. Mark Ward came before the Public Works Committee on March 6, 2019 to discuss this piece of legislation. This is the Bradford Road Pump Station Elimination Project. Again, this is something that we're requesting movement on so they can proceed with the project getting done over there. So make a motion for that, or we already have, so.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2019-0048, authorizing an amendment to a revenue-generating agreement with United Cerebral Palsy Association of Greater Cleveland Incorporated for lease of office space at the Green Road Services Center located at 4329 Green Road, Highland Hills, for the period May 1, 2016 through April 30, 2019, to extend the time period to December 31, 2019, and for additional revenue in the amount of $1.
Move to adopt. Mr. President, my colleagues, this legislation was also heard in the Health and Human Services Committee, and it is a $1 lease agreement for related services that will be provided in association with the Department for Developmental Disabilities. They did present that they're in the process of working out a new schedule that will involve receiving rents of more than $1, and that they expect this to be implemented starting in 2020, but this will take it through to the end of this year.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, the ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2019-0063, authorizing amendments to agreements and contracts with various providers for community-based services to support at-risk children and families in Cuyahoga County for various time periods, to extend the time periods to March 31st, 2020, and for additional funds as printed on the agenda.
Move to adopt.
Second.
This item was also heard in the Health and Human Services Committee meeting. This is referred to as the collaboratives, and we had some of the directors come in and speak on behalf of some of the programs and services that are being offered. I'm happy to see that the Harbor Community Service Center's dollars were restored, and respectfully request my colleagues' support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Resolution is adopted. And under first committee, miscellaneous committee reports.
On behalf of Chairwoman Baker, the Rules Committee is meeting April 2nd at 3 o'clock. It's regularly scheduled time to go over the legislation that's pending there regarding IG amendment.
Okay.
Human Resources, I guess you used to saying Health and Human Services. Human Resources Appointments and Equity will meet at its regularly scheduled time of April 2nd at 10 o'clock.
I forgot my own committee. Education Environment meets on Wednesday at 3 to hear the scholarship money for College Now.
Community Development will not meet.
Economic Development did pick up an item. However, our committee usual meeting scheduled at 3 o'clock on that day. There was a national holiday that takes place here in Cleveland. It will be very difficult to find parking for any of the folks who would want to be coming from the orchestra out there. So I think that I'm going to ask to have it rescheduled at a time, sometime either Thursday, which is usually if a holiday falls on Monday, that we move it to Thursday at 3 o'clock if that's possible.
Well, we certainly can't do anything about the national holiday, so that'll be fine.
Safety, Tuesday, 1 o'clock.
Public Works will meet at its regularly scheduled time, Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Mr. President, my colleagues, in observance of the national holiday, Finance and Budget Committee is also going to be moved, and tentatively we're looking at Wednesday, April 3rd at 1 o'clock in the Health and Human Services Committee. There was no legislation introduced in that area, and we don't think there's going to be a meeting, but we're going to confirm that before making it official. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Now, under miscellaneous business, I believe Councilwoman Stevens has some comments.
Thank you. In front of each member of council is a package from the Northeast Ohio Alliance.
Excuse me, Ms. Stevens, could you put on your microphone?
It's on. The light's on.
I'm so sorry.
Let me speak louder. On behalf of one of my constituents, the Northeast Ohio Alliance for Hope, that also known as NOAA, they have submitted to every member of council, not just to me, a request that we attend, if possible, a meeting on November 15th at the McGregor home in East Cleveland on Private Drive. There is not a full-service grocery store in the city of East Cleveland, and a coalition of neighbors have asked that we attend a meeting so that they can talk with us about how they could work in conjunction with the health departments, creating a Healthy Communities program to look at ways to provide full service grocery services in the community. That's it.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman?
Under the miscellaneous business, I'm honored that on April 3rd at 10 o'clock, I will be participating at Brecksville schools with a naturalization event with about 25, I think 30 new citizens coming from places like Haiti, Albania, India, Greece, Philippines, Guyana, and even Syria. So I'm looking forward to it. It's a special time, and one of the things that makes it even more special is that we give them American flag. If you recall, this body said that the American flags that come off the graves of service members are the flags that we're going to be giving, and we did that, one of our very first actions as a council. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Anybody else? All right. Well, if there's no other business before the committee and the council this evening, we are adjourned.